Just like Coach Stoops asked, Kroger Field was rocking by noon on Saturday. The fans showed up for this one. The team showed up for this one. And so did the recruits. We're going to go behind the scenes in this video of Kentucky's big recruiting weekend. Of course they won. You guys already know that. 33-14. They dominated the Florida Gators. And we're going to get started here in a second. But Kentucky fans, subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. It is blowing up. We just started a month ago. We want to get you guys on board. All right, let's bring on Adam Luckett from KSR. Adam, if you're a recruit and you were watching yesterday's game, you've been recruited by Kentucky for the last 8 to 10 months. You've been hearing the recruiting pitches, and now it all played out right there, dominating fashion against the Gators. If you're a recruit, what do you take from Kentucky's win on Saturday?
I think it's just more evidence that they're a legitimate SEC football program. Like, they can beat teams up in this league. And they're a team consistently that wins and a team that can go win 10 games in a season. You look the last 4 or 5 years, who has been Georgia's biggest competitor in the East overall? It's been Kentucky more times than not. Now, they're still trying to climb that mountain to get into that stratosphere that Georgia's in. But if you're looking at every other team in that division, they're up there more consistently as of right now, last 5-6 years. And we'll see what Tennessee does the rest of this year with Josh Heupel. But overall, they've had Florida's number here. That's 3 years in a row where they've beaten them, and the margin of victory has increased with each meeting. So Kentucky, I think it was another message by this coaching staff that, hey, we play football here in Lexington, and we play winning football. And come here and be a part of a winning program.
Yeah, and winning is what they did. Now, I know they try to get a lot of recruits to the game, but there's probably even more targets and commitments watching on television. So what was some of the general reaction that you got from Kentucky targets and recruits and commitments?
Just really impressed, I think, with the running attack. I mean, ran for over 300 yards against a Florida defense that just stuffed what has been a really good Tennessee rushing attack 2 weeks ago. Really hadn't allowed anybody to really run on them, and Kentucky did whatever they want, specifically with Ray Davis. You know, he almost set the program record. He was 20 yards away from setting the program record. So he almost ran for 300 yards by himself against Florida, against the defense that everybody thought was good entering that contest. So I think that is the big reaction there. And then it's also, I think, defensively, and then some of their younger stars. Deion Walker's a big name, and you see how Kentucky's using him. They're using him all over the field. On the interception Graham Mertz threw in the first quarter, they dropped him back in coverage, and he had the hit that kind of blew it up and knocked the ball in the air. Then the next possession, I believe, he had a big sack on a second down to get Florida behind the chain. So they're using him in a lot of alignments, and I think Kentucky's saying, if you can play, we're going to put you on the field and we're going to put you in position to succeed. We're not going to pigeonhole you in one spot. And so I think that's the versatility they're selling on defense. Then offensively, they're showing that they can do it both passing and running.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's 2 targets that I want to talk about that were both at the game. One's uncommitted. The other is committed to another program in the SEC. We'll get to him in a minute. But first, 4-star edge Brian Robinson, top 150 player overall out of the state of Ohio, was expected to be at the game. You told me just before taping he was there. So what is the word on him? Because heading into this visit, he's a heavy Kentucky lean. So what are you hearing as the game has now ended? Fans are waiting. Has he committed?
I don't believe he's committed yet, and I haven't got confirmation that's happened yet. This has been a extensive, long, drawn-out recruitment. I think Kentucky has been the clubhouse favorite since about right after the June, right around the official visit. After the official visit, I felt good enough to go ahead and put in an RPM pick for Brian Robinson. But they've had to hold off some suitors, and there's been some weird stuff with his recruitment. He's changed high schools as a senior. He moved from Youngstown, Ohio, to the Columbus suburbs in Westerville. So that threw, I think, a wrench into things. I think Ohio State has always been a factor here. You'd have to worry if they turn the heat up on him. But it seems slowly they've overtaken Michigan, who was seen as the favorite, I think, back in the winter spring. Michigan was the team to beat. Penn State's also been involved. But I think Kentucky's consistency with Vince Merrill, and I think the Youngstown ties here are huge in Brian Robinson's recruitment. Mark Stoops, Vince Merrill, both from Youngstown. And they've just stayed on him, and just staying there and staying steady in this recruitment, I think, is going to win out for Kentucky. We are expecting a commitment to come here soon, but then also, you rewind 3 months, I thought a commitment would come before the season. I thought it would come over the summer, maybe
Right.
around 4th
Yeah,
of
we've
July,
been
and that
saying that
never
for a while
came.
now.
So you got to see how it plays out. But I really do like Kentucky's positioning right now. And that's the second time, Josh, he's been on campus this fall for a game.
Right.
So he took an official back in June, and he's been back twice now on an unofficial visit.
All right. Well,
you would
the
think
dust
that's a
is still
sign to
settling on the big game on Saturday. We'll see what falls out from that. Kentucky fans, go check out KSR. They have all the latest recruiting updates available there. The other prospect I wanted to talk to you about, now he kind of snuck on campus. This one is committed to Alabama. 4-star wide receiver Rico Scott. What's going on with his recruitment to Kentucky, and do they have a chance to flip him?
Stone Saunders is a quarterback committed in the class of 2025 to Kentucky at Harrodsburg, Bishop McDevitt in Pennsylvania. His number one receiver is Rico Scott. Kentucky had hosted Rico Scott back on, I believe, on junior day. He came, Stone Saunders with them. Kentucky thought they had a really good chance, and then he commits to Alabama over the summer. So that maybe you thought the recruitment had ended, but Kentucky's quietly, I think, been consistent here and stayed on him. They got Stone Saunders committed right before the season, and that has helped this recruitment. And Kentucky quietly got him on campus for an unofficial visit this past weekend. And so it's Alabama, obviously, but I think Kentucky has more than a puncher's chance here. The relationship with Saunders is a big thing here. Stone Saunders' family they have really tight ties with offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, and you get into that with the quarterback receiver relationship. I think that has made them have a legit chance to maybe get a flip here late. Now we'll have to see how it goes over the next few weeks, but I think Kentucky's got a good chance to potentially get the spatula out here.
All right. Well, let's keep this recruiting momentum going, my man. When's the next big recruiting weekend for the Wildcats?
Yeah, I think you're looking at that Tennessee game the weekend before Halloween. Kentucky's coming off the bye. They go to Georgia this weekend, Missouri at home, but the big one's going to be that Tennessee game right the weekend before Halloween. I think you're going to see some big prospects get on campus. I think it's going to be a big weekend for Kentucky, the junior prospects, the 2025 guys. Maybe have a big weekend there, get a lot of guys there. But there's going to be guys, maybe a Rico Scott or other guys like that they maybe try to sneak on for an official visit. You're looking at that one and the Alabama one game in November. If you're going to have a big official visit weekend, it'll be one of those two for Kentucky.
Yeah. All right. Well, an exciting weekend as Kentucky takes down the Florida Gators 33-14 in dominating fashion, and recruits took notice. Adam Luckett from KSR, thanks for joining us today on the Inside Scoop.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.